I will go to the subject that three main peaceful paths. And here the book of the great Tsongkhapa, I have to read in Tibetan first, and then I will give you little explanations, because so in that way you will get the oral transmission and explanation transmission as well. The short explanation transmission and oral transmission. So the lineage. So the title is Lam Jito Nabasum Tawa Shoksos. The title is Lam Jito Nabasum Tawa Shoksos. And then Jizu Lama Nam the Chaksel, Jizu Lama Nam the Chakselos. They were sort of going to be to yes, I can't have them. In the hundred of the Jowote, she doesn't use she died share a child. No. At the beginning, Jizu Lama Nam the Chaksel. That is, he says he prostrate to his gurus. You know, whenever a master writes a book on Dharma, always they prostrate. At the beginning there is prostration or respect to Buddha or to Guru and so forth. So here he is prostrating and respecting his gurus, and that also indicates about the first point, relying on teacher. So when he is doing so, he is telling you that is the first practice. The relying upon teachers is the first practice, okay? And then it is traditional that they have to make a promise that they are going to write this subject. Because when they make a promise, then the qualified teachers, the qualified teachers and holy men, they don't break their promises at all. There is no chance to break their promises once they made a promise. Therefore, in order to be able to complete writing the book, they always make a promise at the beginning. So that he also sentences is Hadasipe de la Machashi, Dejo Tuyashi to Zumbai, Yawadi Lama Yitube, Kendeta Tame. He's asking to listen to the teaching with proper faith. The fortunate ones, he's asking for the fortunate ones who want to listen to the teaching and who have no attachment to the happiness of samsara, and who wants to make the precious human form meaningful. And they should listen carefully the teaching. And then he is now coming to the first subject, that is renunciation. Namta nizum mewa siso yi dede tuni shiwe tamen. Dede tuni shiwe tamen. Si la kamba yi ya nizye nam kune shingzi thoman nizum zera. Now, at the beginning you must think about the renunciation. Because if you don't have renunciation, then you cannot get detached from samsara. So if you cannot detach from samsara, then you cannot get out of samsara. Therefore, renunciation is very important. So, the attachment, we talked about attachment to the world, attachment to this life, It is very, very strong emotion that is misleading us. The attachment doesn't mean that we should give up everything. Renunciation doesn't mean that we should give up everything. You know, you should give up your house, you should give up your family, you should give up your job and go to a cave and then meditate for your whole life. It's not like that. Okay? But our attachment towards the world is kind of blind attachment. We only see the worldly pleasurable things, and then we go after them blindly, right? So that brings us in trouble. So over-attachment. You need a job to support yourself and to support your family. We need a house, shelter from wind and rain and so forth. We need clothes to cover up our body and to keep our body warm. We need food to survive. If we don't survive, we cannot practice Dharma also, not only worldly things, right? So the detachment or giving up attachment doesn't mean that you should give up everything. But we should know the limits, and we should learn how to be satisfied. Okay? If you learn how to be satisfied, then we can be very happy. If you have a big house, still you are happy. If you lose a big house and you got a smaller house, still you are happy. Okay? And if you have a good car and your financial state goes down and you have a little, how do you say, inferior car or some, less expensive car, still you can be happy, And then if you are not satisfied, then if you earn whole Singapore, you cannot be happy. When you own whole Singapore, then you maybe want to control Malaysia and then to Indonesia, right? So one never can be happy. So we must learn how to be satisfied. We should not compare ourselves with richer people. And then if you compare with richer people, then our ambitions and our needs can never be fulfilled, because it is endless. So when you have enough, you should be satisfied. You should be satisfied. That doesn't mean you should not work more. That doesn't mean you should not earn more. If you can earn more, comfortably do so. There's no harm. You can have good house, bigger house, good money, better business, bigger business, without making too much effort. You know this, too much. Too much means you spend all your time only to that purpose. No less time for Dharma practice. That is too much. Normally, I suggest people, whenever I talk, I say I understand that as a lay people, we must work, we must support our family. There's no, we cannot dedicate our full time to practice of Dharma. That I can understand. But we can do something which is very meaningful and which is very easy. That is, out of 24 hours, 23 and a half hours you can spend on worldly purposes. Okay? Just a half an hour you spend on Dharma practice in a day. And that means 15 hours a month. Is that right? 15 hours a month. Right? So 15 hours a month is quite a lot, no? Practice Dharma. Yes. And then you can multiply by 12 in a year, how many hours? So even you cannot give half an hour a day, then you can give 15 minutes. Yes. So 15 minutes at least, you cannot make it lesser now. Okay? So 15 minutes. So 15 minutes you do practice of Dharma. That should be every day. On basis of every day basis you must do. Because if you do sometimes 2 hours of practice Dharma, and then 4 or 5 days you never practice Dharma, that is not balancing. It is not good. That doesn't bring effective result. Because you do some serious practice, and then there is a big gap. So during that time, you totally practice. There is no reminder of Buddha Dharma. Okay? There is no reminder of Buddha Dharma during those big gaps. So there is no continuity. So your mind cannot become habitual towards Buddha Dharma, and your mind will not become familiar with Buddha Dharma. And there are also other reasons why the continuity is very important. The quality of practice is important, the quantity is not important, okay? Right? So that's why I always suggest at least you spend 15 minutes. That should be with full concentration. Then you can look back after 1 year. Okay? You can look back after 1 year. This is 2009. So since today we start this, and now when 2010 will come, and then you look back, I can promise you that you will find a big difference between this, between the 2009. For example, if your name is Michael, 2009 Michael and 2010 Michael would be different. Definitely. Calmer, more compassionate, easygoing. Definitely there will be change, big change.